Welcome to our deep dive today. We're going to be exploring a future that's closer than you might think, a future where being fluent in AI is as essential as knowing how to use a computer. So we're going to be looking at a report straight from OpenAI. It's called Building an AI-Ready Workforce, a look at college student ChatGPT adoption in the U.S. And it paints a pretty fascinating picture of how today's college students are shaping that future.
Yeah, it truly is fascinating. And one of the things that's really striking right from the get-go is just how many college students are already using AI. The report highlights that over 1/3 of 18 to 24-year-olds in the U.S. are using ChatGPT.
Wow. So that's like 1 in 3 people that you might see walking around a college campus. I was pretty surprised by that number. But what really caught my eye is that they're not just using it for fun. Over a quarter of all ChatGPT messages from this age group are focused on education. They're using it for some pretty serious academic tasks.
Yeah, absolutely. They're using it for everything from writing term papers and summarizing, dense academic readings to brainstorming creative projects and even getting help with coding. This generation isn't afraid of AI. They see it as a tool to help them learn and solve problems.
It makes you wonder, does this signal some kind of shift in how this generation views technology?
I think it does. For them, AI isn't some far-off concept. It's a resource that they can tap into right now to enhance their learning. What's fascinating to me, though, is that this adoption isn't uniform across the country. The report shows a pretty stark difference in AI usage between states. You have states like California, Virginia, New Jersey, New York leading the charge, while states like Wyoming, Alaska, Montana, and West Virginia are lagging behind.
So why is this difference significant? Is it just a matter of some states being more tech-savvy than others?
It's more than that. I think it raises some serious questions about economic competitiveness in the future. Think about it. If businesses are increasingly looking for employers with AI skills, and some states are falling behind in AI adoption, what does that mean for those states' economies? We could see a widening gap between those who are prepared for an AI-driven workforce and those who aren't.
That makes sense. And it's not just about students teaching themselves right. It seems like even the education system itself is struggling to keep up with the rapid pace of AI adoption. The report mentions that a lot of students are teaching themselves and each other about AI because their schools aren't providing the resources or the curriculum.
Yeah, that's a key point. It's like students are sensing the urgency, almost like they're sending a message saying, hey, this is important and we need to be prepared whether our institutions are ready or not.
That's a really interesting way to put it. So while some schools are lagging behind, it's not all doom and gloom. The report actually highlights some fantastic initiatives happening in places like Utah and New York, where they're actively integrating AI education into their curriculum.
Exactly. Utah is really focusing on preparing students for those AI-driven jobs we were talking about earlier. They've launched programs at Salt Lake Community College, the University of Utah, and Utah Valley University, specifically designed to equip students with the skills they need to thrive in an AI-powered world.
And New York is taking a bold step by making AI education mandatory. Through adjustments to SUNY's general education requirements, they're also launching dedicated AI departments and offering paid summer research internships focused on AI for public good.
These initiatives are incredibly promising. They demonstrate that it is possible to adapt and create educational pathways for students to be successful in a future shaped by AI.
Okay, so we've talked about students embracing AI, and we've talked about some states stepping up to the challenge. But let's get to the heart of the matter, jobs. We all know that AI is transforming the workplace. But how significant is the impact, really?
Well, the report cites a survey that found that over 70% of business leaders would rather hire someone with AI skills even if they have less experience in the field. It's clear that AI fluency is becoming a must-have, not just a nice-to-have.
It's not just talk either. A McKinsey study found that 72% of businesses have already integrated AI into at least one area of their operations. AI is already here, and it's changing how we work.
Absolutely. And this isn't just limited to the tech industry either. AI is impacting every sector, from healthcare and finance to manufacturing and retail. Studies from institutions like Stanford, MIT, and the universities of Chicago and Copenhagen have all pointed to significant productivity boosts when AI tools are effectively integrated into workflows.
So we're seeing this incredible demand for AI skills from employers. But if certain states are falling behind in AI adoption and education, what are the potential economic repercussions? This has to have some serious implications.
It does. States that don't prioritize AI education risk losing out on innovation, job creation, and ultimately economic growth. It's an issue that policymakers really need to address.
That's a sobering thought. The report actually lays out a three-pronged approach to tackling this challenge. They call it Drive Access, Demystify AI, and Develop Policies. It's a pretty comprehensive framework designed to create a more equitable and AI-ready workforce.
It is, and I think starting with drive access is crucial. The report emphasizes making sure that all students, regardless of their background or location, have access to AI tools and resources. They specifically mention increasing awareness of free tools like ChatGPT and exploring ways to subsidize access to more advanced models.
That makes a lot of sense. Not everyone can afford expensive software or specialized training. So how do we level the playing field and make sure everyone has a chance to develop these essential skills?
That's where collaboration comes in. The report highlights some successful examples of government and educational institutions partnering with organizations like OpenAI to provide subsidized access. For example, Arizona State University is offering ChatGPT Enterprise to its students and faculty, and they even launched an AI innovation challenge to encourage creative use of the tool.
And then there's the California State University system, partnering with OpenAI to offer ChatGPT Edu to nearly 500,000 students and faculty across its 23 campuses.
Exactly. These are great examples of institutions taking concrete steps to integrate AI into their learning environments and make sure students have the tools they need to succeed.
So driving access is all about making sure everyone has the opportunity to experience and learn about AI. But what about demystifying it? How do we make AI less intimidating and more expensible to those who might be hesitant or unsure about its implications?
That's where the second demystify AI comes in. It's about moving beyond the hype and the fear surrounding AI and showing students the practical ways they can use it for learning and problem solving.
The report actually highlights a study from the University of Pennsylvania that found that using the right prompts is key to guiding students' learning process.
It's a great point. It's not about using AI to get easy answers. It's about learning how to use AI effectively to deepen your understanding and enhance your critical thinking skills. Programs like the OpenAI Academy mentioned in the report can play a crucial role in this.
So these workshops give students hands-on experience with AI, promote responsible use, and help them see real-world applications in areas like job hunting, exam preparation, and even internships.
Exactly, and it also helps address concerns about academic integrity, which is something a lot of educators are grappling with right now. It's all about equipping students with the knowledge and skills they need to navigate this rapidly changing technological world.
It sounds like these workshops could be game changers for both students and teachers. So we've covered drive access and demystify AI. Let's move on to the final D, develop policies. Why is this so crucial as AI becomes more integrated into our lives?
Because as we become more reliant on AI, we need clear guidelines and policies to make sure it's being used responsibly and ethically, especially in education where we're shaping the minds of future generations.
The report really emphasizes the need for institutions to develop clear policies on AI use in all aspects of education, from coursework and homework to assessments. It even suggests that not having proactive policies in place could actually hinder student adoption.
That's a really interesting point. It suggests that students are actually looking for guidance from their institutions. They want to know how AI fits into the academic world and how they can use it responsibly without fear of repercussions.
So what kind of policies are we talking about here? Can you give us some specific examples?
Sure, it will vary depending on the context. Some institutions might decide to ban AI tools for certain assignments, while others might embrace them as valuable learning aids. For instance, some schools might allow students to use AI for brainstorming or research, but require them to cite their AI assistants properly.
It seems like there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
You're absolutely right, but the key is to have open and honest discussions and develop policies that reflect the evolving nature of AI and its impact on education. The report also calls for a nationwide AI education strategy, rooted in local communities and supported by American companies. It emphasizes equipping students and the workforce with AI skills across the board, from technicians and engineers to researchers and developers.
It makes sense when you think about it. AI isn't just about tech jobs. It's going to impact every industry, which means preparing the entire workforce for an AI-driven future starts with education. Speaking of which, the report outlines several policy recommendations for federal action, state legislation, and workforce development. One of the suggestions is to expand 529 savings plans to cover more AI-related training programs.
That's a great idea. It could make AI education more affordable and accessible for a wider range of students, including those pursuing careers in fields like construction, HVAC, and electrical work.
The report also suggests establishing AI literacy frameworks in core curricula for students and professional development programs for teachers.
That's incredibly important. We need to make sure all students have a basic understanding of AI, regardless of their field of study. And educators need the proper training and support to effectively integrate AI into their teaching practices.
And finally, the report stresses the importance of public-private partnerships for developing AI training pipelines and collaborating with organizations like labor unions and community colleges to make AI education more accessible and affordable.
The Prescola's example we touched on earlier is a great model for these types of partnerships. By working together, we can create a more inclusive and AI-ready workforce, ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to thrive in this new world. It's a complex challenge, and I think it's one we can tackle if we approach it strategically and collaboratively.
I completely agree. This has been incredibly insightful, and I'm sure our listeners are already processing all this information. But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I have one final thought for you.
I'm all ears. What's on your mind?
Well, the report focuses on higher education, but what about K-12? Is our entire education system ready for this AI revolution? Are we preparing students from a young age to navigate this rapidly changing world?
That's a great question, and one that deserves its own dive. It's clear that AI is here to stay, and its impact will be felt across all levels of education.
It's definitely something to think about. We'll delve further into that topic and more when we return for part 2 of this deep dive into the AI-ready workforce. Until then, keep learning and keep exploring.
You know, it's fascinating. College students are almost ahead of the curve here, recognizing the importance of AI even when their schools haven't fully caught up. It really underscores how quickly this field is evolving.
Yeah, it really does. It's like they're saying, we get it, this is the future, and we need to be ready. But if AI fluency is becoming so essential, how do we ensure that everyone has the opportunity to develop these skills? Not just the students in those tech-forward states we talked about.
Right, and that's where the report's three-pronged approach comes in. Drive access, demystify AI, and develop policies. It's a roadmap for creating a more equitable and AI-ready workforce.
Okay, so let's break that down. Driving access. What exactly does that involve?
Well, imagine a world where every student, regardless of their background or zip code, has the tools and resources they need to explore the world of AI. That's the goal of Drive Access. The report emphasizes increasing awareness of free tools like ChatGPT, which you might already be familiar with, and exploring ways to subsidize access to more advanced AI models.
Okay, so not everyone can afford expensive software or specialized training. Subsidized access would be huge. What are these advanced models, though, and why are they so important for students to have access to?
Well, think of them as the next level of AI tools, more powerful and capable than the free versions. They can handle more complex tasks, process information in more sophisticated ways, and offer a deeper dive into the possibilities of AI. Giving students access to these tools is like giving them a glimpse into the future of the field.
It's like giving them a key to unlock a whole new world of possibilities. So who would provide these subsidies? Is this something the government would handle?
It could be a collaborative effort. The report highlights successful partnerships between government education institutions and organizations like OpenAI. Remember Arizona State University? They're offering ChatGPT Enterprise to their students and faculty, and it's been a game changer.
Right. And they even launched an AI Innovation Challenge to get students thinking creatively about how to use these tools. I also remember you mentioning the California State University system partnering with OpenAI to offer ChatGPT Edu to almost 500 million students. That's incredible.
It is. These universities are really demonstrating that it's possible to take proactive steps to integrate AI into the learning environment and make these powerful tools accessible to students from all walks of life.
So we're making progress on driving access, which is fantastic. But what about the Diversify AI part of the approach? How do we make AI less intimidating for those who might be hesitant to dive in?
Well, it's all about shifting the narrative. We need to move past the hype and the fear surrounding AI and focus on the practical applications. Show students how AI can be a valuable tool for learning and problem solving in a way that feels approachable and exciting, not scary.
I like that. Approachable and exciting. The report talks about the importance of using the right prompts when working with AI. Could you explain what that means and why it's so important?
You bet. Think of a prompt as a question or instruction you give to an AI tool. It's like giving it a starting point and a direction for what you want it to do. A well-crafted prompt can make all the difference in the quality of the output you get from the AI.
So it's not just about typing in any old question. You need to be strategic about how you phrase it.
Exactly. It's like having a conversation. If you want to get a thoughtful and insightful response, you need to ask the right questions in the right way. For example, instead of asking ChatGPT to write me an essay about the American Revolution, you could ask it to compare and contrast the perspectives of loyalists and patriots during the American Revolution. See the difference?
Wow, yes. The second prompt is so much more specific and thought-provoking. It's not just asking for information, it's asking for analysis and critical thinking.
Exactly, and that's the key to using AI effectively in education. It's not about replacing human thinking, it's about enhancing it. Programs like the OpenAI Academy do a great job of teaching students how to craft those effective prompts and use AI in a way that supports their learning, not replaces it.
It seems like those workshops are really valuable. They provide that hands-on experience and help students understand the potential of AI, while also addressing concerns about academic integrity, which I know is a big concern for a lot of educators.
Absolutely. They're also a great way for students to explore real-world applications of AI, like how to use it in their job search, prepare for exams, or even land internships.
That's really cool. So we've talked about driving access and demystifying AI. Now let's delve into that third D, develop policies. Why is this so crucial, especially in the context of education?
Well, as AI becomes more integrated into our lives, we need to ensure it's used ethically and responsibly. And nowhere is this more important than in education. Clear guidelines and policies help create a framework for safe and effective AI use in the classroom.
The report emphasizes that institutions need to be proactive in developing these policies, covering everything from coursework and homework to assessments. It even suggests that a lack of clear policies could actually hinder student adoption of AI.
That's right. Students are looking for guidance from their schools and universities. They want to know, is it okay to use AI for this assignment? How should I cite my AI assistants? What are the rules? Clear policies help answer those questions and give students the confidence to explore AI tools without fear of crossing any lines.
So what kind of policies are we talking about? Can you give us some examples?
Sure, the specific policies will vary depending on the institution and the context. Some schools might choose to ban the use of AI tools for certain assignments, like take-home exams or research papers, where original thought is paramount.
That makes sense. But what about other situations where AI could be used as a learning tool?
In those cases, schools might allow students to use AI for brainstorming, outlining, or summarizing sources, as long as they properly cite their AI assistants. It's about finding a balance between encouraging exploration and maintaining academic integrity.
It sounds like there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
You're absolutely right. The key is to have open and honest conversations within each institution, involving educators, administrators, and students, to develop policies that reflect the unique needs and values of that community.
So it's about finding the right balance for each individual school or university. The report also calls for a nationwide AI education strategy, rooted in local communities and supported by American companies. It emphasizes the importance of equipping students and the workforce with AI skills across a wide range of professions.
That's a crucial point. AI isn't just about creating a generation of computer scientists or data analysts. It's about preparing everyone for a future where AI will be woven into the fabric of almost every industry, from healthcare and finance to manufacturing and agriculture.
Right. It's about having a basic understanding of how AI works, its potential benefits and risks, and how to use it ethically and effectively, regardless of your chosen field.
Exactly. It's about fostering a culture of AI literacy across the board. And to achieve that, we need to start early.
You mean even before college?
Precisely.
But how can we make sure that everyone, regardless of their socioeconomic background or where they live, has access to this kind of education?
Well, the report offers some interesting suggestions, like expanding 529 savings plans, which are typically used for college to cover AI-related training programs. This would make these programs more accessible and affordable for a wider range of students, including those who might not be pursuing a traditional four-year degree.
That's a really innovative idea. What about the role of teachers in all of this? How do we make sure they're equipped to integrate AI into their classrooms effectively?
Well, the report suggests establishing AI literacy frameworks in core curricula for students and developing professional development programs for teachers. Equipping teachers with the knowledge and skills to teach about AI is just as important as equipping students with the skills to use it.
Right. It's about empowering teachers to become AI guides for their students, helping them navigate this new world with confidence and a critical eye.
Precisely. And it's not just about the technical aspects of AI either. It's also about teaching students to think critically about the ethical implications of AI, its potential biases, and its impact on society as a whole.
Those are some really important points. It's clear that we need a multifaceted approach to AI education, involving government, industry, educational institutions, and even individual communities. The report highlights the importance of public-private partnerships in developing AI training pipelines and collaborating with organizations like labor unions and community colleges to provide accessible and affordable AI education.
Yes, and we've already seen some great examples of these types of partnerships in action. The Perscolas example we talked about earlier is a fantastic model for how this can work. By bringing together different stakeholders, we can create a more inclusive and AI-ready workforce, ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to thrive in this new world.
It's inspiring to see these collaborations happening. But as you mentioned earlier, this isn't just about college students or those entering the workforce. We need to start thinking about AI education much earlier in the learning journey.
Absolutely. The conversation about AI needs to extend beyond higher education and into K-12 classrooms. Imagine if students were introduced to basic AI concepts in elementary school, learned about the ethical implications in middle school, and had the opportunity to experiment with AI tools in high school.
It would completely transform how they view technology and their role in shaping its future.
Exactly. By nurturing AI literacy from a young age, we can empower a generation of students to not just use AI, but to understand it, question it, and even contribute to its development in a responsible and ethical way.
That's a powerful vision. It's clear that we have a lot of work to do, but it's also incredibly exciting to think about the possibilities that lie ahead.
I agree. And the more we discuss these issues, the more prepared we'll be to navigate the challenges and harness the incredible potential of AI for good.
Well said. This has been an incredibly insightful conversation, and I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear more about how AI is impacting education at all levels. We'll continue exploring these important questions and delve into the fascinating world of K-12 AI education when we return for part 3 of our deep dive. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive into the AI-ready workforce. It's been a fascinating journey so far. We've seen how college students are embracing AI, explored the challenges of ensuring equitable access to AI education, and even glimpsed into a future where AI literacy is as commonplace as reading and writing.
Yeah, it really has been a thought-provoking conversation. We've covered a lot of ground, but I think it's important to kind of step back for a moment and consider the bigger picture here. We're witnessing a technological shift, unlike anything we've seen before, and it's going to have profound implications for every aspect of our society, not just the workforce.
You're absolutely right. And as we move deeper into this AI-driven world, it's crucial to ask ourselves some tough questions, like, what are the potential consequences of not adapting? What happens to those individuals and communities who are left behind in this AI revolution?
That's a critical question, and one that keeps me up at night, honestly. If we don't address the digital divide and ensure that everyone has the opportunity to develop AI literacy, we risk exacerbating existing inequalities.
We could end up with a society where the benefits of AI are concentrated in the hands of a select few, while others are left struggling to catch up.
Exactly. And that's not just a social justice issue, it's an economic one as well. If we fail to prepare our entire workforce for an AI-driven future, we risk losing our competitive edge on a global scale.
It's a sobering thought, but it's also a call to action. We need to be proactive and intentional about how we integrate AI into our society, ensuring that everyone benefits, not just a select few. So how do we do that? Where do we start?
Well, I think it starts with a fundamental shift in our mindset. We need to move away from seeing AI as a threat and start embracing it as a tool, a partner in progress. It's not about humans versus machines. It's about humans and machines working together to solve the world's most pressing problems.
Oh, I love that. Humans and machines working together. It's a much more optimistic and empowering vision than the dystopian scenarios we often see in science fiction.
Exactly. And I think it's a more realistic vision too. AI has the potential to automate tasks, increase efficiency, and even spark new waves of innovation. But it's still a tool that needs to be guided by human intelligence, creativity, and compassion.
So it's not about replacing human jobs. It's about augmenting them, making them more fulfilling and impactful.
Precisely. And that's why AI literacy is so important. It's not just about teaching people how to code or build algorithms. It's about teaching them how to think critically about AI, its capabilities and limitations, its ethical implications, and its potential impact on their lives and their communities.
It's about empowering people to be active participants in shaping the future of AI, not passive bystanders.
Exactly. And that empowerment starts with education. We've already talked about the importance of integrating AI into K-12 education, and I think that's a crucial piece of the puzzle. But it's not just about formal education. It's about creating opportunities for lifelong learning and exploration.
It's about fostering a culture of curiosity and innovation, where people feel encouraged to experiment with new technologies and explore how AI can be used to create positive change.
Exactly. And that's where organizations like OpenAI can play a vital role. By developing user-friendly tools offering educational resources and engaging in open dialogues about the responsible development and use of AI, they can help demystify AI and make it more accessible to everyone.
It's about shifting the power dynamic, moving away from the idea of AI as something that's created and controlled by a select few, and towards a more democratic and inclusive approach where everyone has a voice.
I couldn't agree more. The future of AI is not something that's predetermined. It's something we're actively shaping right now. With every choice we make, every conversation we have, every action we take. And the more voices we include in that conversation, the more diverse the perspectives, the better the outcomes.
That's a powerful message to end on. The future of AI is not preordained. It's something we're shaping together. And that's both incredibly exciting and a little daunting, don't you think?
It is, but I'm optimistic. I think we have the potential to create an AI-powered future that benefits everyone. A future that's more equitable, sustainable, and fulfilling, but it's going to require us to be bold, to be visionary, and most importantly, to work together.
Well said. That's a great note to wrap up on. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into the AI-ready workforce. It's been an eye-opening conversation, and I hope our listeners feel inspired to learn more, explore the resources we've discussed, and most importantly, to engage in these crucial conversations about the future of AI. Until next time, keep learning and keep exploring.